others were formed. President of Democracy and Human Rights for Africa, Fado Zakaria Fado, says Ethiopia is naturally a leader among African countries that enables it to participate in free trade initiative and play a great role in creating unique currency for African countries. He elaborates that Ethiopia is a landlocked country regardless of being one of the biggest countries in Africa in terms of civilization, culture, and having big population, which is detrimental to its economy. Phantom Bullet reports.
President of Democracy and Human Rights for Africa non-profit organization, Fadul Zakaria, said Ethiopia is a hub for African Union and it is a leader in African countries. He added that Ethiopia can get involved in free trade area and can play great role in creating unique currency for African countries.
Ethiopia is hosting the African Union, is home to the African Union organization. So naturally, Ethiopia has the duty to be a leader in Africa and pretty much get involved in any occasion for free trade initiatives. Not only that, another point that's really important and I would like to see Ethiopia play a major role is the problem of currency. In Africa we have about 14 countries that use the same currency that is printed in France right now. Ethiopia can play a role where we can have a unique, it's a project, where we can have a unique currency, and with Ethiopia being in the center and other big African countries such as Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt, for example, along with Ethiopia, we can definitely create a unique currency for African countries, and this will probably impact more than anything that Africa ever done for its development.
The president noted that access to seaport is crucial for the economy of a country, and Ethiopia is a landlocked country having more than 100 million people, which is tending to cause harm to its economy.
The access to seaport is very important for any economy. Let's take, for example, if you can take the example of, for example, today Cameroon and Benin, with their economy, a big portion of their economy relies on their ports. Ethiopia is one of the biggest countries in Africa in terms of civilization, in terms of culture, and Ethiopia, of course, with almost 100 million people, not having a port, I think is detrimental to its economy.
He explained that African Union has external influences and the resolution and decision of African Union are not respected in some African countries to ensure peace and stability.
Even the African Union itself has a lot of external influence, and also the resolution and the decisions taken by the African Union are not really respected by a lot of African countries. And we can see recent examples with all of these coup, with all of these transition ongoing. We can clearly see that the resolutions or the decisions of African Union are not literally taken into consideration. One example would be Chad, for example. The African Union is not like one country or one department taking the decision. It's a few countries sometimes voting for a resolution. So there is always the possibility of them being split. Some of them supporting A and others supporting B, for example, which makes it also harder for the African Union to enforce its resolutions and views.
Fadul pointed out that it is important for Africans to understand the need for strong democratic institutions, culture of justice, and equality.
It's important for us to understand the need for strong democratic institutions rather than strong people. I always say that Africa doesn't need strong people. Africa needs strong institutions, democratic institutions. Also, we should cultivate the culture of justice and equality, which are definitely the prerequisites to peace and stability.
The State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Musgano Arga, welcomes a delegation led by the Ethio-China Friendship and Cooperation Committee members. In the course of their discussion, the State Minister appreciated the long-standing relations between Ethiopia and China